George Pradle here for Vision Corps, Director of Strategic Alliances, and today what we want to talk about is the differences between different types of replication. Because it gets a little bit confusing if you've got a VMware environment and you're looking for different ways to do your replication. You've probably heard a lot of different terms being thrown out there. So today what we want to do is straighten those out a little bit. So there's really three different basic types of replication. One is an application-based replication. The other is an image level based replication. And then finally array-based replication, which may be one of those that you're a little bit more familiar with. So we'll talk a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of all of those. First one let's talk about is application level. So what we can do with the application level is that within these environments, you've basically got data within your servers. And that data is connected usually to applications. Typically where you're going to see the application level replication is in your very critical servers. And so why do we need application level replication? The reason that we need it is because of the fact that we have to have two systems that are in sync. It's a very, very important environment. And so if we lose one of these systems, we need to have the other one already up, already running, already in sync. So what are some of the challenges to file level replication or application level replication? Is the fact that with this, you're going to have two systems that are up. So you have to have an active environment. And so what that does is that whatever you're running, maybe it's whether it's SQL, Oracle, those types of things, you're going to have to actually pay for multiple licenses because you're running them both at the same time, so it only makes sense. So in that type of a system, really nice system, usually a little bit costly. So you have to have it for your tier 1 type of environment. And those are the only ones that you're going to be able to use that for. But basically what happens is that when a write is done to this data path, it would also be done to another data path. So application level replication allows you to be able to have two systems up and running, gives you the failover capabilities, and there's a lot of great products that are out on the market that can help you to achieve that goal. Now, the next one I want to talk about is one that in the virtualized environment is very, very popular. So in this type of environment, you have your virtual center up here connected to your ESX hosts, and then all those are connected to your storage device. Now, this could be iSCSI, it could be NFS, it could be SAN, but you're probably going to have this set up with fiber here. And then what you're going to do is that you're going to have an identical system set up at a remote environment. So you might be going over the cloud, so it could be through the cloud that we're going to the remote environment, and we go to the disaster recovery site. Now, both of those sites have to be pretty much identical in order to be able to take advantage of SAN level replication or array-based replication. And the reason for that is because they have to have the same ability to read and write. Most of them are set up as active-passive as well. So basically you'd have an active environment here, and then on this side it's going to be passive. So that way, should there be a problem, should be a thunderstorm if you will, that what would happen is that this one would become active, and then this one would turn into a passive environment, allowing you to switch over. One of the things that's expensive about this is the fact that you do have to have this type of storage arrays. Not everybody can afford to do that. The other thing is we have to decide which of these machines, which of these servers will actually have their data replicated across this environment. So once we've made that decision, we can actually then take advantage of this. Cool stuff about this is that there are some space limitations or length limitations anyways, how many miles you can go with this type of technology. However, what's really cool about it is the fact that you can take all this data, you can move it over, and using VMware has a technology called SRM, which is Site Recovery Manager. Other technologies have similar type things. And what that will do is it will automate the process then to bring it up there. But again, it's a very expensive process. One of the things that we want to talk about is the fact of what an image actually is. If we take a look at what an image is in a virtual machine, it consists of a BIOS, an operating system, applications, and data. And so what's nice about that is that whole image can be then replicated as an image to a remote site. Now there's different ways to do this, but what we want to focus on is the fact that these different images can be different operating systems as well. We don't have to have just a Microsoft operating system. This could be Novell, this could be Windows NT. It could be pretty much anything. It could be DOS for all we care, because we're going to look at things outside the guest, and an image level system is then going to take this whole image and it's going to replicate it to a disaster recovery site. Now, some things that we can do here which can take advantage of this a little bit better is that with the technology that we've come up with, this image, it's great. Yeah, we can get it over to the other side. Let's talk a little bit about what the realities, though, of your environment are. Is that at the remote site, may not be this cool blade server. Remote site might be a retired piece of equipment. Remote site, the DR site, because that's usually the one that gets, slanted a little bit. Maybe we don't have shared storage. Maybe all we have is the storage that's inside the box. So all we've got is local storage. And over on this side, we've got a really nice system. We've got a blade center, got a sand down here. And so what can we do to get this image level over to this other side? Well, just using regular TCP/IP connections, we can actually go from a site that has the full production environment with blades and storage, etc. And we can actually take that image, and then run it on a machine that's perhaps a retired machine that has internal disk, and that machine's going to be able to bring it up and boot. And so think about the recovery time objective, the RTO on this. Basically what you're doing is that on a regular basis, you're copying this image from this side to this side. Now, you only have to copy the full image the first time. The secondary pieces, what we're going to do is we're going to go in and see what blocks have changed within that image. We'll replicate those over to the other side. And that way, all you have to do is replicate those changes. So it's actually very, very quick in order to do that. So one of the things, again, to focus on here is the differences between the three different types is that you might think, well, they're mutually exclusive. And the truth couldn't be, farther from that. What it is that you can actually use all three of those together. Let's say I've got this beautiful sand-based replication. And sand-based replication is awesome. So you've got this with your tier 1 servers, etc. Maybe you've got a couple of SQL servers. Maybe it's your virtual center and you're using their technology to do that. And now you're replicating at the application level. And then maybe you've got these other servers which are pretty important to you, but don't really kind of quite fit in exactly yet. Or you need to make sure that those are going to be available at perhaps another site. Maybe you've got another site, this is your DR site, but maybe you've got another plant, within your environment that you control, and you could actually on a regular basis, maybe just once a month, once a week, replicate this virtual machine out to that site. What peace of mind would that give you? So again, the ability to be able to get up and running after a disaster is really critical, and if you'll take advantage of using the application level replication, sand-based replication, and also image level replication to your advantage, you can create disaster recovery plans that will be beyond what you've ever dreamed.